What's going on, guys? It's Mike from Bavhaus, and today in the shop we have an E46 325xi. This is a car that we actually did some filming on. It was pretty much a full restoration, and the current owner of it is having some issues with the key. When the car was sold, the keys didn't work and they wouldn't program to the car. So we're going to try to sort that out and get the key unlock and lock working. This is the key we sold the car with, and we did try to replace the battery and program it, and unfortunately it doesn't do anything but unlock doors and start the car. Our advice for the time being was to get a second key, and hopefully that would work. And this is the brand new key from the dealer. As you guys can see, nothing happens. When we tried to program this key to the car, it didn't work. Weirdly enough, when this key first came from the dealer, it didn't even start the car until I went in and cleared some codes. Another issue we're having with the car is random EWS faults, and it pretty much does a key lockout. It's an anti-tampering lockout. So the car kind of gets rendered useless and has to get towed back over to us every time that it gets an EWS lockout, which is really annoying for the owner and me. So what we're going to try to do with that is swap out the EWS and program a new EWS module to the car, and then pair up the two keys to that EWS module. In addition to that, there's one thing that was wrong with the car that we knew about when the car was sold, and it was discussed, and that is the key sound that comes from the ignition whenever you leave the car. Pretty much if you leave your key in, the car just beeps at you. But with this car, even after removing the key, it continues to beep. So what I did before was actually go with my computer and program the beeping out, and it worked for a period of time. But now I think all of these issues are interconnected, and not having that beeping kind of made me forget about it, and I actually had to go and reprogram that beeping back in just to kind of sort out this problem. So I think what we're going to do in this situation is replace the EWS module, program the keys to the EWS module, program the keys to the car, and then everything should be sorted with this car in terms of keys. We're going to be using a couple pieces of hardware and software to work on this, and we'll do our best to link everything below. So I want to show you guys first how annoying this beeping situation is. You open the door and it thinks the key's in the ignition. And like I said, the only two keys for the car are in my hand. It'll do this forever. So what I did before to get rid of the sound was just to go in the computer with BMW Scanner 1.4 and just turn the option for the key sound out, and it temporarily didn't really fix the issue, but got rid of the annoying sound. So what we're gonna do first is remove the cover down here to get to the EWS module. That's got a couple Phillips, and then there's a clip right there. So one screw here, one screw here, one screw here, and then the clip right there. They should all be Phillips, and then the clip, I just use these clip pullers. I'll link them below. They work perfectly. Next, we can grab this. You want to pull here because it kind of clips in up there. Grab here so it slides down. And then we're going to have to slide this tab back and pull the OBD port out. And then there's just a little plug back here we're just going to yank out for this light. Try to do this one-handed. So you just slide this back and then pull this up. And then back here, you just pinch and pull. You can get this whole section out of the car. I forgot how annoying the beeping is. I'm losing my mind already, and it's only been a minute. EWS is located underneath the dashboard, so we're going to go underneath. Look all the way up, and that's our module. It's got two 10 millimeters. There's one there and one back there. We just have to fully remove that one, and then we can slide off of that one. That one's open on the back, so you just take this out and then pull it, and then we're just going to push that tab and then remove the connector. I have a stubby ratchet, long extension, and then a 10 mil. I'm going to fully remove this. So once that's removed, you're just going to pull on this like that. It's open on that side, and then we're going to pinch this connector and remove it like that. Oh look, the noise stopped the second I removed the EWS module. So I've already cleaned this EWS module out a couple times, but there was some corrosion on the pins and inside of the module. So I'm gonna open it up. You just gotta pry here, and then it's got some tabs on the back, on the right, and all the way on the left. You're just gonna push these in, all at the same time. It's kind of a juggling scenario. And we're gonna slide this board out. So once you pop the box open, there's your EWS module. Now we just have to push those tabs like I said. Yeah, look at that corrosion. So here's the EWS itself. There was a ton of corrosion on the board before when I cleaned it, but apparently it didn't clean it good enough, and we're still having some problems. You can just see some of the corrosion on the bottom there. So what we're gonna do is get a new EWS. I have one from a parts car. We're gonna basically take the writing from this EWS, write this EWS with it, and then program the two keys to it if necessary. It might just be that we, copy this onto this, and then we're good to go. So I'm gonna save the file out of this. I'm gonna save the file out of this too, just so I have it. And we'll show you guys how to do that. All right, so this is an AK90. It's a EWS key programmer for EWS 2, 3, 4, so E46 through E90, early E90, and that's the software right there. So we're gonna open up the software, wait for it to connect. Relay's clicking in there, it connected. And now what we're gonna do is grab this and physically connect it to that board. Before connecting it, you wanna see that that says OD46J, which it does. Right there, it's a little broken English, but it says mustn't read 2D47J, which we do have OD46J as written right there. OD46J, that's what we're trying to read. So just a prompt. Here's a picture to verify OD46J. That's that little board right there. So this is it connected to the board and to the AK90. We can exit out of this. We're gonna go read EWS. Okay. Pin no touch, so I'm assuming that's messed up. So let's screw around with it and see what happens. So I cleaned the terminals with a wire brush, and then I just pushed this down onto the board, and now it's telling me to wait, so I guess it's kind of working now. And we'll see if it pulls any data. So it says no pin touch unless I squeeze and hold it, and then it just goes to wait. So I think this is still corroded and dirty. I'm gonna go clean it up one more time. All right, so I switched to a different AK90. It's an old school one, and I'm holding down the pin board, and I got the file, finally. We've been messing around with this for a while, so happy that the old school one worked. The new one was dog shit and full of malware, so don't recommend buying the red ones. So that file is saved there with the VIN. What we're gonna do now is grab the second EWS and read this one out. So this setup actually has an arrow that points up, so a lot easier to do. No pin touch, because I wasn't pushing on it. This one's way looser. So actually, let me try something. Let me see if their connector with this one works better. All right, use the new connector, the old AK90. This is the one for the AK90, just super loose. Let's see what happens. Read the EWS. Okay, okay. No pin touch. All right, so in both cases, we're just having to push down on the board, but it's working. So the second file is saved right there. And now what we're gonna do is, the only reason I saved this is so I have this information for later use if I need to program another one, because we're gonna program this one to this EWS. So now I'm gonna go write EWS. Okay, so now I'm actually writing back the same file. All right, so now I'm gonna load a bin file. We're gonna go to the desktop, and it looks like WBAEU334 is what we want. So we'll go desktop, WBAU334 is this one. So we're gonna open this file, and then we're going to write the EWS. I'm gonna have to push down on this as I do it, so give me 1 second. All right, so we have a good connection. You can hear this one's chirping. Write data, okay, and it's got a little smiley face. Awesome. So now we can let off. Press OK. Let's throw this EWS, which is the new one, programmed to the old VIN into the car, and see if we can get rid of that noise. Here's our new EWS module, fully assembled, programmed. We're gonna go put it in. All right, so the EWS module is back in the car and plugged in, and I do not hear that beeping, so I think we fixed it. Now we're gonna test our key and see if they're programmed. They should be, because all the writing from the previous module was written to that module. So let's put the old key in and see what happens. We fixed it. All right, so now let's try to program these keys, or let's see if it works just automatically. No. Okay, let's give it a program. So if I recall correctly, you hold the unlock button, you put it in the ignition, you put it to position 1, you take it out. I think you press the lock button a few times, and then put it back in. All right, so I wasn't able to film this part, but it's just because it takes too much. So what I did is I took the key, I put it in the ignition, cycled the ignition on to the second position, let it off, pressed down the unlock button, and as I did that, I pressed the lock button 3 times and then let off the unlock. Then I heard an unlock and lock with the car. It took a couple tries, but then I went with the second key, did the exact same thing, and now this is the old key. Here's the new key. Well, it's being stubborn and it doesn't want to program both keys, but we were able to program one. This is the brand new one. So it would do one, but anytime I try to do the double cycle for 2 keys, it would just pick and choose. So we're going to stick with the new key. This car never did it since I owned it. And now since the current owner owns it, no difference. So this is awesome. EWS issues gone. Key finally being recognized. That crazy beeping done. So now I'm going to go back into the car with the scan tool, delete all the codes related to EWS, and then everything should be good regarding that from now on. So not a big deal. I know a lot of people are scared of EWS. You can see, besides the software issues, how easy that was to do and to program a new EWS into this E46 and make it work properly. So let's do a post scan. Let's clear some codes. All right, so we're back in BMW Scanner 1.4. Here is the codes I was getting. Toleration of changing code increased, key 6. Toleration of changing code increased, key 7. DME, changing code, XOR error, power on reset. So those were some of the codes that were immobilizing the car. It was driving me nuts. And then there is a bunch of issues with the O2 sensors and misfires, but they're not real, so I'm kind of just going to ignore them for now. Yeah, you can see everything here is yellow, which means it's kind of not present. But EWS signal is wrong. EWS code is implausible. And then, yeah, same thing down here for shadow. So, and then control unit self-test 3 is probably related. So this would get worse and worse until the car would completely just lock out and not allow the key for the car to start the car, until I messed around with the EWS, and then ended up in a situation where I was just clearing codes and it would start again, and it would last a couple weeks, and then it would get towed back over. So I know that now, since I didn't just program out the beeping and we actually solved it, that it's done. Once again, we're able to unlock and lock the car, which is awesome. All right, so what we're gonna do now is just do a massive clear. I took pictures of everything, so I know what's going on here. We're gonna let this thing straighten up a bit, and then once it's all done, we'll ship it. Four errors, so no errors. That's a good sign. let's take another look quickly at what codes. Yeah, so we have some other electrical issue going on with the O2 sensors. Will be one of the next things to solve on this thing. But we'll show you guys when we get there. Until then, it's 1:37 in the morning, so we're wrapping it up. Thanks for watching BavhausTV.